And you are watching GVTV News.
Thanks, Renette, and I'm Randy Hansen. In world news headlines today, final day of climate summit brings talk of 2020 deal, and Occupy Boston remains after midnight deadline. And 1,000 protest corporate influence in D.C. And Iran files complaint over U.S. drone. An EU treaty change falters over British opposition. And Putin accuses U.S. of inciting protests. And EPA ties natural gas fracking to water pollution. And Holder, the thief. Drug war gun sting operation inexcusable, he says. Senate Republicans block nominee for Consumer Protection Agency. And Corzine apologizes for MF global collapse. And murder-suicide claims 2 lives at Virginia Tech. And LA City Council backs constitutional amendment against corporate personhood. And longtime anti-death penalty activist Martina Correa to be laid to rest in Georgia. GVTV News would like to say the views expressed on our news broadcast do not necessarily reflect the views of NCTV, the Digital Media Center. But before these stories, GVTV News would like to thank one of our underwriters who supports your only visual video news media in Nevada County. That's right, it's us, GVTV News. In today's First World News story, talks at the UN Climate Change Conference in Durban have entered their last official day, with focus now on European Union-sponsored roadmap calling for a new climate treaty to be negotiated by 2015. Treaty would impose binding cuts on the world's biggest emitters of the heat-trapping gases, but would not likely go into effect until 2020. The EU plan has received support from key blocs at the talks, including the coalition of small island states and grouped of the world's least developed countries, but several of the world's largest polluters, including the United States, China, and India, have refused to back the deal so far. Occupy Boston continues to stand after protesters defied a midnight deadline to evacuate their 2-month-old encampment. Scores of protesters remained in Boston Dewey Park after police failed to move in when the deadline passed. The encampment's size shrunk, however, after hundreds of demonstrators voluntarily left to avoid the threat of arrest. Many of those departing the original encampment have set up a new site at Boston Federal Reserve. And in Washington, a week-long protest dubbed Take Back the Capitol continues on Thursday with a series of demonstrations protesting corporate influence over Congress. More than 1,000 people turned out to protest the offices of lawmakers, including House Speaker John Boehner. And Iran has filed a formal complaint after recovering a downed U.S. drone near its border with Afghanistan last week. The United States has acknowledged the drone was used as part of a CIA spy program that has sent many drones into Iran to purportedly monitor suspected nuclear sites. On Thursday, the Iranian Foreign Ministry summoned the Swedish embassy, which handles U.S. interests in Tehran, and said the Obama administration has increased what it called provocative and covert actions. Iran has demanded the United States provide a full response and compensation. At a White House news conference in Washington, President Obama reiterated the long-standing U.S. threat that no option is off the table when dealing with Iran. A reporter asked, "Are you intentionally trying to ramp up the pressure on Iran? And given that you have stated that no options are off the table, should we take that you mean you are considering some other options?" President Obama replied, "No options off the table means I'm considering all options." Reporter then asked, "Can you tell us exactly what those options might be?" And President Obama replied, "No." The 17 members of the Eurozone are vowing to strike their own accord after a bid to change the broader European Union treaty failed. Leaders of the 27-member EU have gathered in Brussels in a bid to tackle the sovereign debt crisis threatening the Eurozone. Proposal pushed by France and Germany to alter the EU treaty to include tighter fiscal controls failed after Britain refused to sign on. France and Germany now say they will push for separate changes within the 17 Eurozone states. And Russian Prime Minister Vladimir Putin has accused the United States of inciting unrest inside Russia as he grapples with massive protest. On Thursday, Putin said Secretary of State Hillary Clinton had encouraged protests by joining an international criticism of controversial parliamentary elections. Thousands of people have demonstrated this week in a rare show of protest against Putin's rule. Speaking in Belgium, Clinton said U.S. criticism of the election was well-founded. And she said, "We expressed concerns that we thought were well-founded about the conduct of the elections. We are supportive of the rights and aspirations of the Russian people to be able to make progress and realize a better future for themselves. And we hope to see that unfold in the years ahead." U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, for the first time, has linked the natural gas drilling practice of hydraulic fracturing, known as fracking, to polluting water supplies. On Thursday, the EPA said that it found fracking chemical compounds in the groundwater beneath the remote Wyoming community where residents have complained of contamination. The EPA has advised the residents not to drink the water. The finding could have major implications for areas around the country where gas companies are seeking state approval for massive fracking projects in shale formations. And the lovely Attorney General Eric Holder, the thief, appeared before lawmakers on Thursday to apologize for a controversial gun string operation known as Fast and Furious. The operation saw U.S. agents encouraging the sale of thousands of guns to middlemen for Mexican drug cartels in an attempt to gain access to senior-level figures within Mexico's criminal organizations. The U.S. Department of Justice was recently forced to withdraw a letter to Congress that mistakenly stated federal agents made every effort to seize guns before they crossed over into Mexico. Speaking before the House Judiciary Committee, Holder called the operation inexcusable. And he said, "The department has devoted significant resources to this fight and specifically to addressing the unacceptable rate of illegal firearm trafficking from the United States to Mexico. Unfortunately, in the pursuit of the laudable goal, unacceptable tactics were adopted as part of the Operation Fast and Furious. Now, as I have repeatedly stated, allowing guns to walk, whether in this administration or the prior one, is wholly unacceptable. The use of this misguided tactic is inexcusable and must never happen again." Senate Republicans have blocked the nomination of former Ohio Attorney General Richard Cordray as the first head of the new Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Obama picked Cordray to head the bureau earlier this year and now says he has not ruled out making a recess appointment. And former New Jersey Governor and U.S. Senator Jon Corzine appeared in Capitol Hill Thursday to make his first public appearance of his brief stint at the helm of the failed commodities and derivatives brokerage house MF Global. Corzine resigned from the firm last month after it filed for one of the largest bankruptcies in American corporate history with almost $40 billion in liabilities. It was the largest failure in Wall Street since the collapse of Lehman Brothers in 2008. Corzine said, "Like all of you, I am devastated by the enormous impact on many people's lives resulting from the events surrounding the MF Global bankruptcy. Of course, my distress and sadness pale in comparison to the loss and hardships that customers, farmers, and ranchers and other employees and investors have suffered. Their plight weighs on my mind every day. As the Chief Executive Officer of MF Global at the time of its bankruptcy, I truly apologize to all those affected." A gunman shot and killed a campus police officer at Virginia Tech University on Thursday before turning the gun on himself. Murder-suicide led to a 4-hour lockdown of the campus, the site of April 2007 massacre that marked one of the worst shooting rampages in U.S. history. The Los Angeles City Council has unanimously approved a measure to support constitutional amendment declaring that corporations are not people entitled to constitutional rights. The campaign against corporate personhood was launched in response to the Supreme Court decision on the case of Citizens United versus Federal Election Commission, which opened the floodgates for unlimited corporate spending on election campaigns. Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont has just put forward a similar amendment on Capitol Hill dubbed the Saving America Democracy Amendment that would reverse the Citizens United ruling. The funeral of Georgia activist Martina Correa, the older sister of former death row prisoner Troy Davis, will be held tomorrow morning in her hometown of Savannah, Georgia. She passed away December 1st after more than a decade-long battle with breast cancer. She was 44 years old. At the same time she fought to save her own life, Correa struggled valiantly to save her brother's. Davis was executed by the state of Georgia on September 21st despite major doubts about the case, including the recantation of seven of the 9 non-police witnesses. And that's it today for the World News Now. Another thanks to one of our underwriters who supports your only visual video news media in Nevada County. That's right, it's us, GVTV News.
Soundcheck Music Center, the rock and roll connection. We have guitars, amps, drum equipment, sound accessories, lessons, and repairs. We are located at 671 Maltman Drive, Grass Valley. 530-272-7236, open 7 days a week.
Something happening here, but what it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there, telling me I got to beware.
That's right, it's time for the police blotter. Pictures in the blotter not from these actual events, but used for visual aid only. Grass Valley Police Department on Wednesday, 7:25 a.m. Caller from 400 block of Dalton Street reported vandalism to a vehicle. The caller also reported finding a blue pumpkin in the back seat. 9:15 a.m. A caller from 400 block of Glenwood Road reported a woman received a call from a man saying her grandson was in jail and needed money wired. At 9:16 a.m. a caller from 200 block of Lytton Drive reported the theft of copper and brass fittings. At 12:04 p.m. a caller from Ventana Sierra Drive reported a boy prowling and looking in houses. At 2:13 p.m. a caller from 1200 block of East Main Street reported the theft of a laptop. At 4:17 p.m. a caller from 1000 block of Plaza Drive reported transients drinking alcohol in the alleyway. At 5:18 p.m. a caller from a business in the 100 block of Neal Street reported a boy banging on walls and refusing to leave. And at 6:48 p.m. a caller from 200 block of Dorsey Drive reported a physical fight between a man and a woman with yelling and screaming. And Thursday at 2:53 a.m. a caller from 300 block of Pleasant Street reported loud music. And Nevada County Sheriff Office on Wednesday at 9:54 a.m. a caller from 11,000 block of Kelly Court reported identity theft. And at 10:08 a.m. a caller from Comby Road reported a man lying on the side of the road with a sleeping bag over him. He could not be located. And 11:07 a.m. a man from Last Mile Drive reported an assault with 3 men refusing to let him leave. No charges were desired. And 1:59 p.m. a caller from Rough and Ready Road reported a drunken person picked up a child. Welfare check was requested. And 4:57 p.m. a caller from 10,000 block of Comby Road reported a man lying in a driveway with the garbage bags around him. 7:09 p.m. a woman reported the man was causing commotion by barking at her dogs. And 6:25 p.m. a woman from 26,000 block of Highway 49 reported a man poured hot coffee on her during an argument and burned her leg. It was found to have been accidental. 6:35 p.m., a caller from 16,000 block of Highway 49 reported theft of a BB gun, cash, laptop, and a digital camera. And at 9:19 p.m., a woman from 26,000 block of Sweetland Road reported a person pushed her out of the residence and scratched her. A man was arrested on suspicion of spousal abuse. And 10:09 p.m., a caller from 15,000 block of Greenhorn Road reported hearing 6 or 7 gunshots from a large caliber rifle. And at 10:24 p.m., a woman from 15,000 block of Bobble Lane reported a possible prowler. No one was located. And Nevada City Police Department on Wednesday at 5:07 p.m., a caller from the 400 block of Broad Street reported a man screaming in the hallway. And Thursday at 1:56 a.m., a caller from Spring Street reported a physical fight. A man was arrested on suspicion of battery causing serious physical injury. And that's it for the blotter today. Now, another thanks to one of our underwriters who supports your only visual video news media in Nevada County. That's right, it's us, GVTV News. In today's local news headlines, Petros sentenced to 2 years, and a homicide suspect back in court, and motorcyclist charged with evading arrest after crash. A North Colombian schoolhouse announces new executive director. In our first story, written by Liz Keller of the Union, Kristen Frazier typically wears dark glasses, both to protect a damaged eye and to shield a face shattered by a drunken driver. But on Thursday afternoon, she took the glasses off to confront Nye Petros at his sentencing in Nevada County Superior Court. "This is the first time I've let him see my face," she said. "He did get a good look as he stepped out of the courtroom in handcuffs. He needed to see what he did to me." Frazier expected to spend more time undergoing reconstructive surgery than the man responsible for her injuries will spend in jail. Petros, 34, of Nevada City, was sentenced to 1 year in county jail and 5 years probation after pleading no contest to driving under the influence and causing serious bodily injury for the July accident that nearly killed Frazier. He will also serve 1 year in jail after pleading no contest to a felony charge of vandalism in an unrelated road rage incident. Frazier expressed relief that the court process was over, saying she was thankful Nevada County Superior Court Judge Thomas Anderson took the steps he did take. "He really listened to us," said Frazier's mother, Linda Birch. "You're got to a message," well, anyway, I couldn't quite get that. Petros was drunk when he lost control of the 1999 Ford F-150 pickup truck. He was driving with Frazier in the passenger seat, crossing the center line twice before spinning out and slamming into a telephone pole on her side of the vehicle. Frazier struck the telephone pole with her head and face, causing major injuries. Petros sustained a broken arm in the wreck. "You picked my unconscious, shredded, bleeding face off your lap to try to escape," Frazier said during the sentencing. "You didn't even speak to me, to the witness that stopped you from climbing a fence to run and hide." Frazier, a widowed mother of 7-year-old girl, was in intensive care for weeks and already has undergone major surgeries to rebuild her facial structure. She remains unable to drive or to return to work, while life has gone from being a productive member of society and generally busy, happy, and outgoing woman to a life in hiding, in pain, in depression, and in anxiety, Frazier said. Petros has several prior alcohol-related convictions, including 2 drunk driving convictions and a false imprisonment conviction for groping 2 women in 2000, according to the Union archives. A restitution hearing has been set for December 17th. And in another Liz Keller story, criminal proceedings have been reinstated against homicide suspect Cody Filer. James Turner, 75, was found unconscious by a friend in the evening on February 10th and died 12 days later. Filer was subsequently charged with the homicide, assault with a deadly weapon, and vandalism. The assault charges carry a special allegation of great bodily injury causing brain injury and injury to an elderly person. Filer had been judged not mentally competent to stand trial on June 23rd. Nevada County Superior Court Judge Candace Heidelberger committed him to Napa State Hospital. In court Thursday, Heidelberger found Filer had been restored to mental competency. He already had pleaded not guilty to the charges. The judge reinstated his $1 million bail. Filer is scheduled to be back in court 1 p.m. December 22nd. In other court news, 3 Pennsylvania men arrested in connection with a marijuana growing operation in Quail Creek Road took plea agreements Thursday. Franklin Nicholas DeSantis, 21, Mark Kranak, 21, and Arlo Menapace, 23, were arrested September 20th after Nevada County Sheriff deputies raided their marijuana grow operation. During the search, deputies allegedly found 32 marijuana plants in an outside garden, as well as more than $40,000 and more than 15 pounds of marijuana bud. They also allegedly discovered several rooms inside the residence used for cultivation. DeSantis and Kranak allegedly had medical marijuana recommendations from Dr. Mylan Hopkins, who stated that the patients may grow 99 mature plants and possess 19 pounds of processed cannabis for their yearly medical records, according to the task force spokesman. But Nevada County guidelines for medical marijuana state that patients can only have up to 6 mature plants or up to 75 square feet of vegetative canopy growing at any given time and should not possess more than 2 pounds at any one time. Menapace, who was characterized by prosecutor Jim Phillips as having a lesser role as a salaried laborer, pled no contest to a misdemeanor charge of conspiracy to maintain a place for sale of marijuana. Heidelberger sentenced him to 60 days but suspended the sentence with 3 years probation. DeSantis and Kranak, the principal investors, according to Phillips, pleaded no contest to felony accessory to a felony and felony criminal conspiracy, respectively. They each face a 60-day suspended sentence and supervised probation. They can petition to have the felonies reduced to misdemeanors if they complete 18 months of successful probation. They must also forfeit the marijuana that was seized during the raid. Their sentencing was set for January 26th. A 20-year-old Grass Valley man was arrested Thursday evening after allegedly evading law enforcement and crashing his motorcycle. Shane Daniel Venberg was spotted by California Highway Patrol officer on Highway 20 south of Ponderosa Road overpass at approximately 4:20 p.m. Thursday, riding at speeds in excess of 80 miles per hour, according to the CHP report. Venberg was reportedly westbound on Highway 20 when he increased his speed and led a CHP officer on pursuit. Report states Venberg turned north into Rough and Ready Highway, where the officer briefly lost sight of the motorcycle, according to the report. Passing motorists, however, pointed up Grub Creek Drive, a private driveway where the officer located the motorcycle resting on its right side and the rider not at the scene, the report states. With the assistance of CHP helicopter, Venberg was reportedly located walking down a neighboring roadway and was subsequently arrested for evading arrest and driving without a license. And the North Columbian Schoolhouse Cultural Center, the NCSCC, hired a new executive director this week. Jeff Adams, a North San Juan resident and creative director of Willow Springs, began his tenure Thursday. Adams brings a combination of professionalism and passion that will serve the Cultural Center's mission to inspire and educate the community by providing a venue for gatherings, performance, art, and education that enriches the San Juan Ridge's rural character and tradition, according to the organization. Adams also has connections that span the entire ridge from North San Juan up through Cruising Grade. He has served on the center's board of directors but will step away from those responsibilities. He will continue his work at Willow Springs. This is very exciting and a natural extension of work I've been doing in our community, said Adams. This is one of the most vibrant venues for live performances in Nevada County, but on a deeper level, the schoolhouse is a special place where our unique community can gather and share time together, and a place with a rich, deep history. Michelle Cowie, speaking up for the Cultural Center's Board of Directors, couldn't be more pleased. Jeff has been an important board member, influential member of our community, and just plain gets it. The schoolhouse is one of a kind and is a vital part of the Ridge, so is he. He will be a wonderful steward while bringing a creativity and vision that will keep our cultural center dynamic. The schoolhouse has a long tradition of bringing people together. Built in 1875, it served as a one-room schoolhouse and a public meeting hall. In 1979, it was forced to shut down as a school due to legislative requiring earthquake-proof construction. It reopened as a community cultural center in 1980 after extensive restoration undertaken by 2 local architects with the help of dedicated volunteers. Since then, it has hosted hundreds of unique cultural gatherings with artists, musicians, and writers from all over the world. Located just 20 miles from downtown Nevada City at 17894 Tyler Foote Road, it draws visitors from all over the region. Popular annual events including the Autumn Shindig, Valentine's Erotica, and a national renowned Sierra Storytelling Festival. Calendar events can be found on their website, northcolumbianschoolhouse.org. Great place, been there many times. And that's it for local news today. GVTV News would like to thank Associated Press, Reuters, Amy Goodman, the Union, and others for the sourcing of our news, and you for watching. And don't forget, we are broadcast 3 times a day on public access, NCTV, Comcast Cable Channel 11, and Suddenlink Channel 16 in Truckee and Alta Sierra, 8 a.m., 3 p.m., and 7:30 p.m., Monday through Friday, and random Saturday. And other times, check the website schedule. We are streamed daily on NevadaCountyTV.org, video on demand there, and also our websites, GVTV.org, and GrassValleyTelevision.com, and Rural Counties Television Network.ning.com. We also post to Facebook, YouTube, Blip.tv, free video podcasts on iTunes, and you can get us on smartphone, PSP, and many handheld devices, and we have RSS feed. Now we'd like to thank another underwriter who supports your only visual video news media in Nevada County. You guessed it, it is us. GVTV News. And talk to you tomorrow, should be Tuesday. Christopher's Old World Deli and Catering Company has brought its delicious food and service downtown Grass Valley. Do you like desserts? They got them. You like international style lunches? They got them. Christopher's Deli and Catering for parties, get-togethers, weddings, or whatever. Open 7 days a week.